It's race week, guys, and the F1 circus is heading to the Marina Bay in Singapore for the flyaway races. Back-to-back races here in Singapore and then Japan, and it's a night race for this weekend. It's an 8 p.m. start local time, and there's been a big update to the circuit, a unique track layout for 2023 only, and that's due to some construction work that's going on around the Marina Bay to upgrade and redevelop the entertainment area and have a new stage complex. Now, what does that mean for the circuit? Well, turn 16 to turn 19 are going to disappear. It was the bit that used to go under the grandstands and the sort of snaky bit at sector 3, and that's all gone, and we're going to have a long straight there, about 380 meters now, straight from that corner. What was turn 16 is going to now go to what was turn 20 is going to be now the turn 16, and they're going to be a tight right-hander rather than that medium speed corner that we used to have there before at turn 20, and then the circuit will flow around as normal. What that means, though, there's a potential for an overtaking spot down that straight into a tight corner. Whether they add DRS to that is yet to be known, but it should hopefully enhance the racing. It means it's a 20-second a lap faster circuit, because obviously they're getting rid of that twisty bit. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for the racing for this weekend. It's a high downforce circuit, so you know, the likes of Mercedes, Aston Martin and McLaren should be back in the hunt for this weekend, after we've seen Ferrari surge, didn't we, forward in Monza, and I think it'll be a tight battle up at the front for this weekend. Even Max Verstappen was saying, actually, which surprised a few actually at Monza, where he said actually Singapore is probably the next one, where one of the toughest Grand Prix for Red Bull of the season. So potentially, is it going to be number 11 for Max? Let's wait and find out and see in the predictions. Last time out we had a brilliant race here, didn't we, with Sergio Perez winning, and it was the Ferraris second and third, Leclerc and Sainz, and behind them it was Max Verstappen out of position, started in P8, didn't he? Had a bit of a clumsy race, didn't he? Had made a couple of mistakes. Lewis Hamilton also made a mistake, didn't he, trying to get past Vettel, let Verstappen through at the end, and it was a lot of that, didn't we? Had incidents, drivers making mistakes throughout because of the mixed conditions that we had there last year, didn't we, with the race and dry. For this weekend also, the weather condition is meant to be dry up in for most of the weekend, but on Sunday there are some showers just before the race starts. Rain and thunder is forecast, so let's see how that pans out and if it affects the race. We could have another wet race or a mixed conditions weekend, couldn't we? We've had a few of them for this Formula 1 calendar, more than what we normally get, which has only gone to spice up the racing. For the tyres, Pirelli are bringing the softest of the compounds, C3, C4 and the C5, and that will mean it'll still be a one-stop race because it's such a slow pit lane here. It takes 20 seconds to get in and out to do a pit stop, one of the highest or the longest times of the season here, and so teams tend to just try and sort of tyre manage. It's difficult to overtake with it being a street circuit. That might change with that overtaking spot potentially down that new straight that's turned up, but we'll see how it pans out for the race. And then comes the prediction. Will Max make it 11 in a row, or are we going to see a surprise victory here? I mean, like I said, he did say this is one of the toughest for Red Bull, and I'm going to go for a change. I'm sticking my neck on the line. I'm going for the new downforce, high downforce circuit suiting the Mercedes. They've been a bit more optimistic, haven't they? They'll have a better weekend this weekend, and I'm going to go for a Lewis Hamilton win. Yes, he's been done well in qualifying, so if he can stick it on pole, I can think he might make it through to the end. Let's see how that goes. And then for second place, I'm going for Charles Leclerc, which is probably quite brave actually, but just going off the momentum that they've carried through, and he's due a good weekend, isn't he, Charlie? Normally bounces back when he's had sort of a bad one. Not that Monza was too bad for him, was it really? But I think he just expected a bit better of himself. And then to top up that final podium position, I'm going to go for Max Verstappen. And the surprise performer for me for this weekend actually is going to be Lewis Hamilton, because let's face it, if there is going to be a surprise and it's going to be a new winner, well, there's nothing more than that, is it? Anything but a Red Bull victory is a surprise for anyone for this season, hasn't it, so far? So let's see how that goes out. For this weekend, some of the latest news, McLaren are bringing a new livery again. They've gone for a stealth look. I think it absolutely looks brilliant, to be honest. More blacks, just strands of orange, as you can see, that they've pulled out here. Wonder if they're hiding something within their bodywork, aren't they, for this weekend, that they don't want any of the other teams to pick up. It's going to be for the 2 flyaway races, Singapore and Japan. And Williams also, they're going to come with a new livery with title sponsor Gulf taking the front, and I think this looks absolutely brilliant. I love the way the blue and light blue and the orange look, or the light grey and the orange look together. I think it looks magnificent. We sort of seen a little bit of this with the McLaren last year, didn't they, when Gulf were their title sponsor, but I actually really like this one from the Williams team. Also, the new news was the cost cap. The FIA revealed that there is no breaches of the cost cap for this season. So I guess, all the murmurs of saying, it was that penalty harsh enough. And we actually heard rumours of potentially another team breaching, didn't we, early in the season, especially when the FIA tightened that rule where it said that team members when working on other projects, which, they could transfer across into the Formula One division, would, their salaries would come under this cost cap. And the fact that they all got their certificates to say that they all complied. I guess the punishment from Red Bull was harsh enough to deter people to try and stay well within that budget last year. Interesting though that it takes this long. I mean, we're more than halfway through the second season, the next season, and we then get this out. I wonder if there's a possible way of the FIA doing this or monitoring it mid-season potentially. I don't know if that will tip teams off to say, look, we're well above, we need to sort things out, or not. I don't know, but it needs to be a bit sooner in this season for me. And Liam Lawson will continue for AlphaTauri. Daniel Ricciardo still not making it back for this weekend. Christian Horner did say that it would be very unlikely for him to do so at Singapore, and even potentially Japan. This would always be a difficult one for the drivers. It's extremely tough on drivers here, isn't it? With it being so hot and humid, tight and twisty street circuit with high barriers, meaning the heat just stays in and around that circuit rather than just dispersing that we've seen on the bigger tracks, only adding to that. And the drivers lose about 3 kilos over a race distance here, so that's significant loss just for fluids. So I imagine it would have been a tough one for him to come back with anyway. Going off what other MotoGP riders have had similar incidences like that, they've also struggled to come back early, and then it's just made the injury worse. So Red Bull have kind of said that we're a bit careful, we don't want to rush these things, and it's the right thing to do. I know it'll be disappointed because Daniel Ricciardo's only just come back. Don't know how long he is going to stay at AlphaTauri for, or potential, and to lose 3 or 4 races from just a 10 race calendar that he had. He'd be massively disappointed there, but it should be a fantastic race, isn't it, for this weekend. The battle for second place is really, really tight. It's now just 56 points in it between the Ferraris and Mercedes. Ferrari making a big jump, leaping past Aston Martin after Monza's result. So it's a really tight battle up there. Aston Martin will be hoping to try and get back on the podium fight. Here with the higher downforce circuit should hopefully help them to do that. They had Monaco down as one that they thought they should win, or right in there, right for the battle, and Alonso was absolutely on it there, wasn't he? So maybe my top 3 is a bit out there with no Aston Martin in the hunt, because they have been really, really good, haven't they, on these street circuits. But the news is that Red Bull could win the Constructors' title this weekend. They do need a 1-2. There's only 353 points remaining on the table. They're 310 points ahead of Mercedes in second place. They would need a 1-2 and Mercedes not to finish to win the Constructors this weekend, so that seems a bit unlikely, but it's just a matter of time, isn't it, for them? But yeah, there we go. Off to Singapore soon. Can't wait for the race. Interesting to see how the other teams, or the battle for at least second place, if I'm completely wrong and Red Bull do run away with it. But it'll be interesting to see if can we get a Mercedes, a new winner for this weekend. Anyone, in fact, any one of them that have been right behind. That battle for second place has been fantastic, and a big leap forward for anyone that wins would be fantastic for them, and especially in that battle for constructors second place. Yeah, let's see how that one pans out. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. Watch out for the videos, reviews of qualifying and the race to come. See you then. Thanks for watching.